Hello, Bookage friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi, and today we are starting a weekend readathon vlog. So obviously I'm in the car right now. I am driving home from work. It is Friday, December 6th. I think it's December 6th. It's about 12:30. I just had a meeting in Queens and now I'm heading home. And you're probably like, homegirl, why are you starting a vlog and a reading challenge when you're driving? It's because I have how many minutes left? Hold on. So I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Icebreaker and I have 3 hours and 47 minutes left. And looking at my GPS right now, I have 2 hours and 23 minutes until I get home. We're gonna start the reading challenge and the reading clock now at 12:30. Well, maybe 1 because I wanna listen to Little Sabrina Carpenter right now. I'm hoping I can finish maybe 2 hours of the audiobook and have an hour and a half left. But I am going to include my audiobook reading in my reading for the weekend, obviously. So that's why we're starting the vlog now and starting the reading challenge and the clock now. But when I get home, I will update you on my thoughts for Icebreaker. Actually, I could tell you now. Why not? Okay, so Icebreaker. It's about a figure skater and the captain of the hockey team. Something happens to the figure skating team, rink. So now the two teams have to share a rink. That's kind of like where the story really begins. Our main character, Anastasia, is the figure skater. She has a really shitty partner named Aaron, and he's just a total douchebag, loves to gaslight her, loves to belittle her, and is kind of like a narcissist, spoiled little brat. The male main character, Nathan, is captain of the hockey team, and I don't really know what his deal is. I like him. I think he is really freaking cute. But basically Anastasia has a fuck buddy and he ends up finding a girl. They break up. She's not upset about it because she doesn't want a relationship. I think her parents passed away in a car accident and she has a lot of trauma from her childhood, and she has a lot of commitment issues. She's really terrified of commitment, and he wants to love her and be with her and whatnot, which is also kind of adorable. And she's like, no, I don't want anything exclusive. I just want to do my thing, have sex with you, and that's that. I just hit the conflict. I'm I don't know how far into it percentage wise, but I just hit the part where the conflict between Anastasia and Nathan is, and I feel like it was kind of stupid. And if there's one thing you need to know about me and my reading preferences, is that I hate miscommunication. I hate when somebody doesn't let the other person explain what is happening, why it's happening, and all of that. Something happened to Anastasia's skate partner, Aaron, and she thinks Nathan is the one who did it. And instead of saying all right, let me hear what you have to say, did you do it, did you not, she's like, fuck you, get out of my face, and runs away from him. I hate that. Just shut the fuck up, be a grown-up, and let him explain himself. That drives me nuts. I'm liking the book, not loving it. I don't think it's gonna be, if I had to guess, it's gonna be a 3.5 star maybe. But we're gonna have to see where it goes from here. And it is a very, 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 very spicy book. Somebody told me oh, it's not that spicy, and I was like, you're wrong, it is. So yeah, it's very spicy. A lot of it is spice right now and minimal plot, which I don't necessarily mind in a book. I love books with a lot of spice, but this book is really long. I don't know how many pages exactly it is, but it is a long book. And at first it was a lot of plot and building up, and then at one point it was literally just straight up Anastasia and Nate having sex all the time, and I was like, wait a second, I don't mind this, but how do we go from no spice to full spice and really no plot? I mean, there is a plot, but it's you have an entire long chapter of them just having sex and hooking up, and then the next chapter is 3 seconds of what's going on in their lives and how it's progressing, and then they have sex again, and then you have 3 seconds of plot, which I don't really mind. I'm not hating it, but I'm also not loving it. I don't know, it's weird. I feel like you have to have one or the other. Either have all spice, no plot, or plot with no spice, I don't know. Right now it's reading a 3-star for me, but we'll see how it ends. So I'm gonna shut up now because that was a long intro, and we're gonna get to listening to our audiobook, and then when I get home I will tell you what physical book I'm currently reading and what my plans are for the rest of this weekend readathon vlog. Okay, hello friends. I've epically failed at this reading vlog so far. It is now 5:39, and I read a little bit of, or I should say, I listened to a little bit of Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Probably not much. I gotta go see what page I started at and what page I ended at so I can tally up how many pages I read at the end of this video. But I got home. Well, let me back up. The reason I didn't listen to too much of my audiobook is because I got caught up in Vlogmas videos. I love watching Vlogmas videos. I watch like Vlogmas from at least 3 different people, and then I have those people that I just watch their videos. I literally caught up on videos, but that's okay. I'm trying to set up this camera somewhere so I don't have to hold it. Trying to get an angle so my beautiful Christmas tree is in the back. Anyways, I got home at like 3:30. And I was getting such a bad headache in the car, like when I was driving home, and the only thing I wanted to do was just like take a little nap. So the second I got home, I let Louie out and took a 2-hour nap. And now it's 5:30 and my parents are coming over in like 20 minutes to have dinner. I don't really have a lot of time to read, but I'll pop a picture here somewhere. I don't want to cover my Christmas tree, but I'll pop a picture here somewhere on the screen. I'm currently reading 25 Days by Per Jacobson on my Kindle. It's like a book advent calendar. So it has 25 chapters and you're supposed to read 1 chapter per day because whatever happens in that chapter is what's happening that day in the book. And it's like a mystery thriller book about this family that goes on a vacation starting December 1st, and they go to like a cabin that's very secluded in the woods, and some weird stocking shows up and there's like a little film picture in it, but they don't have a camera to look at it. It's a husband, wife, and their 2 daughters. The younger daughter goes into like this basement thing and finds a camera that will allow them to look at the slides that are showing up in these stockings, and something freaky happens, and it's really good. I'm not going to lie. And some chapters are longer, some are shorter, but I love the idea of reading 1 chapter per day and not having to feel guilty about not finishing this book quickly. Like, I'm supposed to take a full 25 days to read it and not binge read it and watch it or finish it in a couple days. So I'm kind of loving this. So I think I'm going to sit down right now and read my chapter for the day, which obviously we're on December 6th. Chapter 4 ended on such a good note. And then chapter 5 was kind of like, whatever. So I'm hoping December 6th, I just said chapter, I mean December 6th is a really good one. It's 10 minutes, so I can definitely finish this by the time my parents come, and then I'm gonna hang out with them for a couple hours. Sorry, I keep yawning. Headaches take it out of me, man. They really kill me. So gonna read my little chapter, and then later tonight I want to try to read as much as possible as my physical book, which we'll talk about then. Hoping to finish the book that I'm currently physically reading right now, maybe get a little farther in Icebreaker, because I don't really listen to audiobooks unless I'm driving, and obviously Friday and I'm going to be home for the next 2 days, so I probably won't do too much audiobook listening. I may try to listen to it when I do my book journal, but there's nothing I love more than like doing a cozy hobby, like doing my book bullet journal and just like putting on a cute cozy Christmas movie on in the background that I've already seen like a million times, so I don't have to like pay attention. So I'll probably end up doing that. We shall see. Obviously I will keep you updated on Icebreaker. I'm gonna go read my chapter for 25 days and then we'll be back a little bit later. So, as you saw from the previous clips, I read my chapter for 25 Days by Per Jacobson. It's good. It's really freaky. Definitely giving out those like eerie vibes where they're just like seeing things and like, oh, whatever. But I'm also like, if I saw those things happening, I don't think I would just like move on with my life. But they also have no option because they're kind of snowed into this cabin. But anyways, you're not going to be able to see this, but I'm reading Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. This is the book I'm physically reading. I am on page 154, chapter 29, and I'm enjoying this. I just feel like all of the books I'm reading lately I'm enjoying but not loving. This book is about college kids, and one friend of theirs is found dead, and then another one is missing. And the girl who's missing is like that typical college girl where nobody really knows anything about her. She's really mysterious, but people are always gravitate towards her and like love her and want to be her best friend. And our main character had one of her friends a couple years ago pass away, and the guy who died in the book is the one who was last seen with her friend Eliza. That passed away before they went to college. Our main character, what the fuck is her name? What is this girl's name? Is it bad that I don't know the main character's name? I know it. Once I see it, I'll know it. Margot. I always forget that. I don't know why. Margot is really just somebody who like needs somebody to kind of like, I don't want to say control her because I don't think that's the right word, but just to kind of like define her for her because she can't do it herself. She's very much like, I want to follow somebody around and just kind of become their pet. And I think the thing that's annoying me about this book is it gets really good, and then for like 3 chapters, it's just like dragging on, and I'm like, I don't care about all of this stuff. I don't know if anything I'm about to say is going to make sense, but this girl is harping on her best friend passing away, which I totally understand, but it's like almost too much in this book. Like, I don't want to hear about how you miss your best friend, because I know you miss your best friend. Who wouldn't? I want to hear more about like how this guy died and why this girl's missing. And I feel like we're going to find out that in the last 10% of this book, which I hate books like that. I like to be like intrigued the entire way through. It's going slow for me, and it's like very up and down in like my interest level. Like I find myself really interested sometimes, and then I'm like, okay, I just read an entire paragraph. I don't know what the hell I read because I don't care, and my mind wandered. And I feel like it's partially the author's writing style. Like, she's trying to be so descriptive, and I'm like, girl, I don't need that much description. Just tell me what the hell happened. I think I'm about at the halfway point. How many pages is this book? Why do authors think they need to make books longer than they probably should? It's 366 pages. What's half of that? 183. And what did I say I was on? 154. So I definitely want to get to the halfway point tonight. It's about 10 p.m. I'm hoping I can stay up and read for like another hour and a half if possible. I have like Santa Claus playing in the background because that's like my comfort Christmas movie. So I want to shoot for at least halfway through this, which I definitely think that's possible. It's 30 whatever pages, but I would like to get a little farther in. Maybe I would like to get to like at least 200 pages. So like a little under 50 pages, which I think is manageable in the next hour. It's just going to depend on if I can stay awake or not. I came home. I think I said this earlier. I got home from work and literally zonked out in bed for 2 hours, which I never really take naps. I'm not a napper, and I'm definitely not a napper in bed, but I got home and I was like, my head was just like screaming in pain, and I was like, I just want to be in my bed. I want it to be cold and dark and quiet, and that's what I got, and it was fantastic. Still feeling a little run down right now, so I'm not feeling absolutely great, which is not good, but I'm hoping that I will sleep very well tonight and sleep for a lot of hours, and I'll be better in the morning. But we're gonna have a little reading sprint together and see how much we can read before I go to bed. It's only been like 20 minutes, but I think I'm going to DNF this because it's boring. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way. I don't even know if the rating is this is on Goodreads. I got to page 186, but I didn't read every single page. There's no way I read that many pages in the short amount of time I've been reading. I kind of like skimmed to the end of the chapter, and you can legit tell what happens in the entire friggin' chapter just in the last paragraph of each page or each chapter. So I kind of did that, and honestly, the way this is going, it's too freaking slow for me. Like, you're not getting any inkling of what the crime is, how it was done, who did it, why they did it. All you're getting is kind of background on, like, Lucy, the main popular girl, and, like, just questions she asked. Like, she asked this question, like, if you could kill somebody and get away with it, would you do it? And it's just, like, seeing how, like, kind of messed up she is in the head. And same with Levi, the guy who had something to do with Eliza's death and is the one who showed up dead. I don't know. I don't think I can read this. I really don't think I can. And I'm looking on Goodreads right now. It has a 3.56 average rating. Somebody said right here, beyond boring. Nothing really happens until the ending, which had a bit of an unexpected drama, and the atmosphere was a huge plus. Both up to my rating. This reminds her of a Megan Miranda novel, but I usually like Megan Miranda. Let's look at another review. It says this one contains spoilers. Also, I'm going to go and look up the ending and how this ends. But it's just crazy to me because I really liked All the Dangerous Things. I don't even remember what it was about. And I still want to read A Flicker in the Dark. I give All the Dangerous Things a 4-star. Yeah, that was with, like, the girl's son was taken in the middle of the night. That one is really good. This seems nothing like that one, so I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe it's because they're college kids, and somebody just said right here, like, this is different for Stacey Willingham. She didn't focus on adult women in their 30s, but a bunch of college kids. Yeah, I agree with this. It says it's a much slower burn to the point where hardly anything happens outside of college kids' shenanigans, alcohol, drugs, boys, until the last few chapters of the book. All the Dangerous Things were far more urgent, intense mysteries about a serial killer and a missing child, and the book never came close to that level of tension. I agree with that. In some point in this book, it mentioned Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I think that's kind of like what Lucy is, like definitely a little bipolar or something weird. I think I'm gonna DNF because if I keep reading this, I'm just gonna get into a reading slump. Worse than I already am. I'm definitely in a bit of a reading slump right now, and I need to get myself out of it, and reading a book like this is just not gonna do it. So we're gonna DNF. We're gonna do no rating. I don't like rating books that I DNF because I just don't. I can always tell I did the right thing about DNFing a book when I feel relief that I'm done with it and I did decide to DNF. Like, that's how I can tell I did the right thing. So we read, how many pages of this? We're going to count it in the pages we read. So I'm on 180, I read 186 minus 154, 32 pages. I'm glad this is over, but I'm going to go look up how this ends. Then maybe we'll pick another book. Actually, let me go figure out how this ends, and then I'll come back and let you know if I thought that ending was good or not. Okay. This book could have been so much better if they had just had maybe Lucy's perspective of things, or even Eliza's perspective of things, because what I'm reading right now, how this like turned out, is so good. But like, I read half of this book and never would have guessed it. I mean, I guess that's kind of the point, is like major plot twist. But like, if we had a chapter that was from Eliza's perspective, or even Levi's, it would have been so much better. Oh my god, this is kind of crazy. Okay, that could have been good if it was just done better. If there was a perspective from Eliza, her old best friend, or Lucy, it would have been so much better. Like, the way that Lucy and Eliza tie together is pretty cool, and like who killed Levi and why Lucy went missing is like my perfect kind of murder mystery. Like, I love stuff like that where it kind of, the two different stories intertwine to each other in some past way and there's a major plot twist. I love that stuff. It was just way too boring halfway through. Like, if I had read, I mean, I probably would have liked it and still given it a 3-star just because it was so boring up front. But that was a good ending. I'm not going to lie. I'm happy I DNF'd and just like read how it ended, because if I had to sit through another half of that book just to have the story probably happen here, it was good. It was all right. I definitely don't recommend it over her other books. I read All of the Dangerous Things and really liked that. It's 10:30. I don't know if I'm going to pick up another book tonight. I should. Let's go see what we have downstairs. All right. I don't know if I'm feeling like a Christmassy read, maybe. I don't think I am. I'm thinking I'm feeling this by Darcy Coates, because her books, the shorter ones, usually read pretty quickly. And I'm kind of still in the mood for like a thriller horror type thing. So I think we're going to go with this one. Hello, friends. I'm a bit far away. Obviously, as you saw, we're reading Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. And this says, no one escapes the stillness. I'm pretty sure it's about this girl. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to read it because it's probably going to make more sense that way. It says, Claire remembers the cold. She remembers abandoned cars and children's toys littered across the road. She remembers dark shapes in the snow and a terror she can't explain. And then nothing. When she wakes, aching and afraid in a stranger's gothic home, he tells her she was in an accident. He claims he saved her. Claire wants to leave, but a vicious snowstorm has blanketed the world in white, trapping them together, and there's nothing she can do but wait. At least the stranger seems kind, but Claire doesn't know if she can trust him. He promised they were alone here, but she sees and hears things that convince her something else is creeping about the surrounding woods. Watching, waiting. Between the claustrophobic storm and the inescapable sense of being hunted, Claire is on edge and increasingly certain of one thing. Her car crash wasn't an accident. Something is waiting for her to step outside the fragile safety of the house. Something monstrous, something unfeeling, something desperately hungry. I don't know why I do this to myself. I'm probably gonna have nightmares now. I always read scary books when Chris is gone. Thank God I have a dog that's big and has a scary bark. We're gonna start this now and see how it goes. Hi friends, it is Saturday, December 7th at 8 p.m. I literally can't remember the last time I updated you because I have epically failed at this reading challenge vlog. I have just been doing other cozy hobbies. I just baked for like an hour and a half, and I also have been working on my 2025 book bullet journal. So I haven't really been leaning into my reading hobby as much as I have my creative hobbies. We're just gonna turn this into a weekend vlog and kind of just like chat. It might be a little bit of a mess of a vlog because I don't know what else I'm going to film for the rest of the night because I'm also filming Vlogmas and then I'm also filming a separate video for my reading journal, but we're just going to see where the rest of the weekend takes us, and I'm definitely going to read a little bit later, but right now I have to finish up this one spread I'm working on, and then I'm going to do a little craft for Vlogmas. If you want to see what that craft is, make sure you are subscribed to, oh wait, no, that video's already up. Sorry, I'm all over the place. If you want to see that craft that I'm doing later tonight, go check out Vlogmas Week 2. You'll see it in there. But this is just your friendly reminder to not put any pressure on yourself to do one specific hobby only, because if you do that, you're literally never going to want to do it ever again. If I forced myself to read this weekend and not lean into these other hobbies, I probably would have hated every single book I read. I think it's important to, sorry, I'm also starting a movie. I think it's important to kind of sit down and say to yourself, like, what do I feel like doing? And if it's not reading or coloring or whatever hobby you need to do at that time, don't do it, because if you do, you're going to end up hating whatever you're doing and it's just not going to be a fun time for you. So that being said, I am leaning into my creative hobbies right now. Oh geez, I'm so sorry. One, because I want to get my bullet journal done for 2025, and like I said, I am filming a separate video for that, so you'll see it. It's going to be a good one. I am absolutely loving my book journal right now. It's coming out exactly how I wanted it to, but I am feeling guilty. Oops, I just cut off a little too much. I am feeling guilty for not reading as much as I had wanted to, but again, I can't do that to myself because then I will hate reading and I will hate whatever I am reading. I'm just gonna let myself lean into whatever freaking hobby I want to lean into. And right now that's all the creative stuff. So like doing this bullet journal and doing the little craft that I'm gonna do in just a little bit here. This is your sign to do whatever the fuck you want. Lean into whatever your heart and soul is telling you to do. Don't worry about what anybody thinks. That's literally all I'm here to say. I definitely plan to continue reading Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. I read like, I think 25 pages of it last night. Super spooky, and the thing I like about it thus far, I haven't really gotten that far, is that the main character isn't like in denial about this man who saved her from a car accident. She's very much like, no, this is weird. Something strange is going on. This guy is strange. She knows it's weird and she's not like in denial about that. So I like that, because usually people in books drive me nuts because they're like, oh my God, this man is so nice. He wants to help me. Like, no, bitch, he wants to kill you. I'm enjoying it so far. Definitely will read a little bit before bed. And I also need to read my chapter for the advent calendar in 25 days. So we will definitely do that tonight too. I'm hoping I can stay up till midnight again, because I did sleep in a little bit today, so I should be able to stay up a little bit later. We shall see. But I'm gonna keep going with my little cozy hobbies, and when I decide to start reading again, oh, I have to give you an update on Icebreaker. I figured out what page I'm on, and I will update you on that in just a little bit, and then we will continue and see where the night takes us. So lean into your cozy hobbies. Do whatever your heart desires and don't care what anyone says about it or thinks about it, really. Don't feel guilty for doing things that you don't want to do. That's the most important thing. Hi friends, checking in for a reading update. I want to tell you how much of Icebreaker I have read since starting this reading vlog. So let me see where I'm at in this first. So when I started this reading vlog, I was on page 215. I am now currently on page 232, so a total of 15 pages so far, but I'm definitely enjoying this much more than I thought. So I still stand with what I said earlier, it's just very choppy. You go from points of having all spice and very minimal plot to an entire chapter that's all plot and no spice. So I feel like it's very woo, up and down. So I'm not doing great at reading this one, honestly. Let me write this in my notes, so I can tally up the 100 pages I've read in its entire weekend. What did I say? I started on page 215. Maybe tomorrow morning we will take Louis for a you-know-what. Chris lands somewhere early tomorrow, so I gotta figure out when he lands. I think he said 10:30 or 11, which I usually wake up at 10, so that doesn't leave me with much time to do my morning routine. But my camera is blinking at me that it's about to die. I'm in the middle of painting my little project, but once I'm done with that, I'm going to read Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. And then when I decide to go upstairs at some point, I want to grab my Kindle and read today's chapter of 25 Days. So I will be back a little bit later for an update. Hello, bookish friends. It is Sunday at about 4:15. I haven't come on to update you in quite some time. I did read the December 8th chapter of 25 Days. It is getting so good, and I don't want to wait to see what happens, but we're going to be patient with that one. I haven't done much reading of Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. I showed you that I was reading it, but I didn't actually pick it up because every time I would start to read it, I got distracted by something. But we did make good progress on Icebreaker. I just got back from taking Louis for a walk. We went for 52 minutes, I think. I upped the speed on the audiobook to 2x speed because it was just too slow for me, and I was like, I can listen to this a lot faster and get through this book a lot faster. So I put it on 2x speed, which is the fastest I've ever put an audiobook on, but I'm not struggling to understand what's going on, which is great because now I can read it 2x faster. So if I can show you this, I started on page 232 prior to my walk, and I listened to 68 pages, and now I'm on page 300. So I read this little chunk right here in the middle that's flopping around just on my 52-minute walk, which is fantastic because we are making slow but steady progress on this book. And that brings our total up to 85 pages read of Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. So I have 129 pages left of this to read, which I will definitely get done this week while I'm out and about driving for work. I still kind of feel the same way about it. It's very back and forth in the plot, and I feel I finally get into a storyline and then that's over within 3 seconds. I don't know, I just feel it's kind of all over the place, and it's very spicy, which I don't mind spice, but I don't know. In this book, it's working because these two clearly have a lot of chemistry, and I love the relationship between these two. But there's just something about it that's very off-putting for me. I think it's just the mix of plot and spice in each chapter. I almost wish it was more fluent. It's they're in the middle of an argument and she wants to ask him questions about why he beat the shit out of somebody. For example, they're having a party at one of their houses. I'm pretty sure it's the boys' house, which Stassi lives there now because her skating partner Aaron is a complete dickhead. They're upstairs banging, and then all of a sudden she comes down. Is it they're upstairs banging? I don't know. She comes downstairs and sees that somebody beat the shit out of Aaron, and then it's she's really pissed because she thinks Nate did it. So they go upstairs and she's I want to get him upstairs so I can ask him by himself and get answers from him, and then all of a sudden they're just fucking, and I'm I thought you wanted answers. So I feel that's kind of putting me off on this. I don't know. I can see it being a 3.5 star. I don't know if it'll get 4-star status because I am kind of Jesus Christ, does this ever end? I feel this is a very long book for absolutely no reason, but I am enjoying it, and I like certain storylines. I feel there's just too many storylines going on, simply put. We are going to switch over to Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. I swear I'm going to read a little bit of this. I'm actually about to go. Oh, just kidding. I can't go shower because I have to wait till my laundry's done. We have water pressure issues in our house and we can't like have more than one water item going. So I can't be having the washing machine downstairs going and the shower upstairs. So that should be done in like 20-30 minutes. So once that's done, I'm going to go upstairs and shower. I don't know if you can tell, but my hair looks ridiculously greasy because I put a scalp oil in and hair oil to like revive my hair. My scalp has been so dry and flaky and it's gross, so I found a scalp treatment oil, so I put that in this morning and I just have been letting it soak in for like the last 6 hours. So once my laundry is done, I'm gonna go upstairs and shower, but until then I'm gonna sit my ass on the couch, watch some football, and get some reading done. Hello friends, we are here to officially close out this vlog. It is Monday, December 9th. We had a turn of events last night and I actually read a decent amount of Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. So when I started reading last night, I was on page 125 and I actually read to page 120. So I read 95 pages last night. Started reading at like say 9:30. I really didn't start reading until I went upstairs to go to bed, which whatever. I had all day, but it is what it is. Let's see how many pages I ended up reading and we'll talk about each book. Oh, I gotta go upstairs and get my Kindle. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I just grabbed my Kindle. I am on page, 142 of 25 days. That's more than I was expecting. I started on page 94, meaning I read 48 pages of that book, which is to be expected because you can only read one chapter a day. So let's talk about this book right here. It is a book that is supposed to be read like an advent calendar, and what's happening in the chapter is what's happening on that specific day. So for example, if you're reading December 9th, that's what's happening on December 9th when this family is on their trip. And the premise of this book is this guy books a winter cabin kind of vacation for him, his wife, and their 2 daughters to kind of rekindle him and his wife's marriage. So they go and rent this cabin. It is completely isolated. The guy who rents it to them meets them at the gas station in town and then has our main character and his family follow them there so they can easily find it because it's kind of hard to find and you don't get self-service out there. So one day one of the daughters notices this Christmas stocking out on the barn. This cabin is on a bunch of property. There's animals that the family has to take care of, so on and so forth. They see this stocking and they open it and find a like film picture in it, but you can't really see what it is without using a projector, so they kind of just move on. And then the next day it's out there again, there's another film picture in it, and so on and so forth, and the stocking becomes kind of like the integral part of the story. Weird stuff starts happening. The wife is like seeing somebody on a snowmobile like way out in the woods. The daughter finds something, things show up dead, and a lot of weird stuff happens. And that's pretty much all I know for now. They're trying to leave, but they can't. There's a huge snowstorm and they called Bill, the guy who owns the cabin, to like come and get them and help them with their car because their car broke, of course. And he never shows up. I have a theory about what I think is going to happen, and I think the dad actually has something to do with it, but to be determined on that. And obviously I will not have a final update on my thoughts for that till the end of the month, so I'm sure I'll talk about it at some point. So next I read Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham, and I only read like 170, 180 pages of this before DNFing because it was boring. I didn't care what happened, and I just wanted to get to like the plot and the twist in this story. This is about some college kids. One girl, Margot, her best friend died. She goes to college and she kind of like can't really find her place in this college until one day Lucy, the cool popular girl, comes up and is like, hey, you should live with us. So she starts drinking, doing drugs, all of that. She thinks that there's something off with Lucy, which there definitely is. And pretty much up until halfway through, that's all that happens in the book, is you just think like Lucy's like off the edge and she's just weird and like does crazy things. The other part of this book is that there's this guy Levi who used to kind of date Margot's best friend Eliza, who is the one that passed, and now he goes to the same school as her. She's not happy about it. She kind of avoids him. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all that happened in the first half of the book. And I ended up going online and Googling how this ended, because I was like, if I read another 180 pages of this, I'm going to be in even more of a reading slump than I already am. So did DNF this one. I have slowly but surely, oh wait, did I say how many pages of that I read? I don't even remember. Damn, I took my bookmark out. I think I read, let's just say, did I start this before this vlog? I think I did. I think I was at 32 pages. We're going to say I read to, I think it was 184. For some reason that number is sticking in my head, so we're just going to go with it. So I read 152 pages of that. When I started this vlog, I was 215 pages into Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is a hockey romance. It's very spicy. It's all over the place. You guys have already heard me tell you my thoughts on Icebreaker, and I still feel the same way. I didn't read anything from yesterday. I'm sure I'll finish this week, hopefully between tomorrow and Wednesday, but still feel the same way. I feel like it's all over the place. I can't really get into the story because by the time I do, it switches storylines and there's just a lot going on. Let me preface by saying that I love the amount of spice in this book. I love a good spicy book, but it's just very like uneven, I would say. Like, if you're gonna do plot and spice, you gotta kind of mix it up a little bit better. I feel like it's in one single chapter, it's like 90% spice, 10% plot, and then in the next chapter it's 10% spice, 90% plot. Like, it's just kind of all over the place. So we'll be finishing that this week. And then we started, also sorry if you can hear Louis chewing a bone, it's the only way I can keep him quiet sometimes, actually all the time. Then I started Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates, and like I just told you, I read up to page 120, so I read 120 pages of this. I am liking this so much more than when I originally started. I started, I think Friday night, I want to say. I don't even remember at this point. Everything's a blur. When I started this, I was like, all right, this is kind of a little boring. It's still like kind of slower, but I love the relationship between these two main characters. Basically, what happened, our main character, Claire, is driving through like this Banksy forest, which is clearly a very famous forest wherever they live. It's snowy. She's talking to her cousin. Her cousin seems distraught. It seems like there's something going on in her family that you don't fully know about yet. And she ends up getting into an accident, but she doesn't remember anything prior to that or like what caused the accident. She wakes up in this like massive mansion in the middle of the woods with this guy, Doran. Or Dorian, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's spelled like Doran. He's like, oh, I saved you. You were in an accident. I couldn't find your phone, but you kind of have to stay here because we're in the middle of a massive snowstorm and you're kind of stuck. And that's it. So these two kind of have to figure out how to survive not survive, I would say, because they're in this massive mansion. They have resources, they have food, they have water. They kind of have to learn to like figure out how to get through the next couple of days, weeks, months, whatever it is that the storm is going to take place. And Doran, the owner of this mansion, has a family that leaves for the winter time and he got banished. He has a really toxic family life, it seems. But weird stuff starts happening, specifically to Claire. Like, she sees this decaying woman, she hears these noises, and all this spooky stuff is happening. That's all I'll say about it because I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm not loving, well, I do really like the storyline. I think it's really freaky that these two don't even know each other and they have to like kind of rely on each other to survive. I don't know. I just kind of love the relationship. Like, it seems like they're kind of like learning to trust and love one another, even though they have no clue who the other is, truly deep to their core. Our main character, Claire, was like, you know, I thought about doing this and all I could think was, I have to make sure that Doran's going to be okay when I make it out of here. And she's already like thinking, oh my God, I'm going to miss him. So I'm liking that aspect of it, but we'll definitely continue reading this today and until I finish. And we'll see if it's a Darcy Coates that I like or not, because you guys know Darcy Coates is a iffy author for me. I love some of her books. I hate some of her books. That is it for this video. That was a very long update. I'm very sorry. Oh, we should total how many pages I read. Duh. Good God. I read 48 pages of 25 days, 152 pages of Only If You're Lucky, 85 pages of Icebreaker, and 120 pages of Voices in the Snow, meaning I read a total of 405 pages, which is basically like one book, but this was spread out throughout 4 books. Not the best I've ever done at one of these reading challenges, but also like it is what it is. Like I said, lean into your cozy hobbies. If you are reading a book and you're just not into it and you want to color instead. It doesn't matter. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you like these kinds of videos. Let me know how much you typically read in a weekend. Like, do you binge read on the weekends, or do you kind of read throughout the week and it stays the same on the weekends, kind of like I do? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and you have the notification bell on so you never miss an upload, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.